All right, mate, welcome to the Gel Lyfe. I'm Marcus. You probably know, but if you're new here, then I'm selling off all of my sneaker collection and only focusing on Asics Gel Lyte 3s. I'm really sick of the way the culture's gone at this point. I don't feel there's any sense of community anymore. Everyone's just into it for the hype, to look good on Instagram, and it's all about what they're worth, you know, on the resale and everything. Whereas I actually have a passion for kicks. So that's why I've started this YouTube channel. This video now is, I'm partway through selling my collection and I've actually hit a bit of a snafu. I've got 4 pairs here I want you to help me with because I've got a bit of attachment to each of them. I'll explain why, and then I'm going to ask you in the comments to let me know which one pair I'm allowed to keep. So yeah, all right, let's do it. So first up, we've got the New Balance Aime Dore 550s in the original colorway. The best shoe to come out in like the last sort of 5 years. Probably personally my favorite shoe before this was probably the Wotherspoon 97 one, but I'm just a massive fan of this shoe. And don't get me wrong, I know all the bloody Soho kids and that are all on it. I was a big Air Force One guy, and these kind of have a very similar sort of feel and silhouette to an Air Force One with that really like 80s vibe. The fact that these were released in 1989 originally but discontinued, and they were actually New Balance's attempt to get into the low top basketball sneaker market, which started to really kick off in the late 80s with the original Nike Dunk sort of leading the charge. But they didn't sell very well. They discontinued until New Balance team up with Eddie Santos at Aime Dore. I guess he goes through the archives and finds this model, does his thing with it, creates these, and now look at what's going on now, which is fair play to Teddy Santos. And they were actually designed by Stephen Smith. And if you don't know Stephen Smith, he's actually a really renowned shoe designer. He did the original Nike Shocks. He designed and invented the the Reebok Insta Pump Fury, and worked on the Yeezy Wave Runners with Kanye West. I tried to get them originally when they first released. Obviously I'd seen pictures online and stuff, tried to get them on the drop, but it just went crazy and they sold out sort of instantly. Then looking at resale, they were going for like 750, 800 pound. So I do what I normally do in that situation, which is just sit the fuck back, wait for at least 6 months, because what you want is everyone to like wear their DS pairs, use them a few times, and then realize that they need to get some money back, or they need to sell them, or they don't actually like them. I'm not sure what I paid. I think it wasn't much, honestly, it was probably about 200 quid in the end. And I'm gonna wear them anyway, so it's just like I bought them on the drop, wore them a couple of times, and here we are. And like I say, there's not huge sentimental value, but I do just really, really love this shoe. This colorway, this is the OG now, I suppose. And I'm just really happy with it, and sort of waiting around to get it, you kind of build up that real sort of allure for it, that real connection to it. So yeah, that's the first one. It's up to you. We've got 3 more. Let's go through them. Okay, next I've got an Air Force One for you. Like I said, I used to be a big Air Force One head, and these you might not have seen, but they're called the Manchester Bees. They're a size exclusive, which is a UK retailer. Well, they only made 3,000 pairs, and they're a tribute to Manchester, my hometown. So that's like 0161, that's our phone code. And you see the Manchester worker bee, and you've got like this honeycomb design. The Manchester bee has been like the symbol for Manchester for like over 150 years, because it's supposed to represent the Mancunian like hard worker. There was 3,000 pairs released, and 10% of the money that they made from them went to local Manchester charities. So really nice ethos there, especially for Nike for once. For one, they actually just look really nice. And the thing is, I'm originally from London, down south, but long story, but via Spain, me and the missus have moved to Manchester, and I've always wanted to like own my own apartment. And living in London, we were forever treading water because it's so damn expensive to live there. Once you paid your rent, been out, you're done for the week. You've got to start all over again. So we moved to Manchester, get some breathing space for ourselves. And, that's exactly what's happened. The people up here are so nice. In London, like people won't give you a second look. If you talk to a stranger, they'll either try and fight you or just think you're weird. Whereas in Manchester, you know, it really is, a stranger's just a friend you haven't met yet. So I really appreciate that. And the fact that being here, things are a little bit cheaper and a bit easier. So I've actually managed to buy an apartment, which has been my lifelong dream. And I really owe it all to Manchester. So that mixed with, you know, me being a bit of an Air Force One guy originally, these are a tribute to Manchester. You know, I just have a real sentimental attachment to them. They released during lockdown. And so, you know, obviously you couldn't go in store. I don't know if they were selling them online. I think they were selling them online, but you couldn't go in store. And I just thought, there's no way I'm going to get them online. So I actually phoned Size Manchester on the day during lockdown when they're shut. And someone actually picked up the phone and I said, do you have a 9.5 or a 10? They're like, yeah, we got a 10. And I asked if they'd hold them for me, a proper old school. And they said, yeah, no problem, we will, you know, just come in when we're open. I thought, that's nice, you know, but they're not going to hold them. They won't be there. So anyway, a couple of weeks went by and then Boris decided to open up everything again. So I shot straight down there and they actually had them sat in the back. So I really appreciate that. Thank you, Size. Big up yourselves. And if I was to sell them, you know, I probably would only get a couple of £100, which, you know, to be honest, I don't want a couple of £100. I'd much rather have these for years and years. You know, it's actually got a story to it, which is kind of rare these days. It's not just some bollocks jacket that Jordan wore to a TV show and say, here you go, here's a new shoe. So yeah, so that's the Air Force One Manchester Bs, 2 more. Okay, so I don't actually have a box for these, but it is obviously the Air Jordan 3 Black Cement from 2011. So we don't have the lovely Nike Air on the back. I've done a bit of a lace swap just because everyone else has got black cement, so I've got to instantly change the laces. They're pretty battered because, like I say, they're from 2011. And, you know, growing up, we didn't have the internet. So, you know, we'd see them on TV during highlights and things. And this was the silhouette I sort of vaguely had in my head. And then when the internet came around and like Nike Talk and different sites and things, you know, then I figured out it was the black cement was that sort of vague image I had. You know, and it's just so iconic, so lovely. So when I had the chance to finally buy them in 2011, I couldn't afford them, but for Christmas, I just asked everyone for cash. So people chipped in basically, and I ended up buying them. So again, that's why they're sentimental. I know they're J's. I know what it's like now. Like, these don't mean anything now. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one cares. But to me, this was the Jordan. This was it. This is everything he represented. To me, this like scrawny little white English kid who's into kicks. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty battered. I mean, they're yellowing a lot. They're scuffed. There's tears. But you know, that's why I like them as well. Like, the more age they get, the better they're gonna look. So I know I'm selling all my Jordans, and this is why I'm doing this video, because I need you to help me out. You know, and even if I was to sell them, what would I get? Like, I want 150 quid. And again, you know, 150 quid for the sentimental value. So again, it's up to you. So that's the third pair, the Air Jordan 3 Black Cements from 2011. Okay, so last pair, as you can see, is an Air Max. And it is an Air Max 1 Premium Quick Strike. Don't know if you saw the colorway, but it's the Atmos Safaris from 2016, not the original release of 2002. So there are a few slight differences. That being the toe box material being this slightly more sort of furry fabric, whereas I think the original 2002 version was more of a suede. And this version having what was an icy outer sole, whereas the originals had a gum sole, which, to be fair, I prefer the icy sole every time. Again, the reason why these are special to me is that they were basically my first grail. I'd been collecting kicks for a while, for a few years, you know, as most people do. I have my little list in my head, or even on a Google spreadsheet, of grails that I want. And, you know, every now and again you sort of indulge yourself and look online like, oh, how much could I find them for? And I think I found them used for a really good price. And my birthday was coming up, and it was the first time I was just like, you know what, sod it. Yeah, I know I've got bills to pay. I know I've got, you know, everything going on. but sod it, my birthday's coming, I'm gonna do it. And it was the first time I did that, and since I've done that a lot more often. So yeah, it was that first kick that, you know, probably like some of you as well, you've got your collection started off and you've got some really nice shoes, but then there's that one standout grail, you know, it's just, when you look at it, you know, it's just special, it's unique, it's hence why it's a grail, you know, and this was it for me, and sat in my collection for a long time, just as that upper echelon, the upper tier, you know, these ones go on that shelf a little bit higher, with things further away, everything else can sort of sit on the shelf below. You know, that was these for me. So obviously I grew a lot of attachment to them over the years. I think DS, they're probably going, I don't know, I think for around somewhere 600 to 800 pounds probably. So I reckon, you know, if I held out, I could probably get 300 to 400 for them if I gave them a good clean. You know, which is good money, and I could put that into my GL3 collection and probably get, you know, a couple of other grails, as it were. So that's it. We've got the New Balance 550 ALDs, the Air Force One Manchester Bs, the Jordan 3 Black Cements, and the Air Max 1 Safaris. Honestly, like I say, it's completely up to you. Whack it in the comments below. I'll go through and I'll make a decisive decision which one pair I'm going to keep and the rest I'm going to list. If you're interested in buying any, they're all basically around the US 11, US 10.5. So depending which ones I keep, you know, I'll be up for selling, but again, I'm gonna want good money for them and I'm not in any rush. So stay tuned. If you're still watching this video now, please, and you haven't already, please subscribe. Because like I say, I'm doing this because I wanna connect with people that actually have a passion for kicks. So yeah, please subscribe, please comment. Link me on Instagram and DM me, and I'm open to chatting away. I'm up for it, trust me, it's what I'm here for. So yeah, big up yourselves and brah!